Have you ever stared at a perfectly wrapped steak and thought, this looks too good to be true? You're not wrong to wonder. Because in 2025, some of the meat sitting on grocery shelves is fresher in appearance than in reality. And the truth hiding behind those spotless glass cases. It could ruin more than just your dinner plans. In this video, we're exposing 7 major grocery stores where buying meat might not just waste your money, it could seriously risk your health. From hidden bacteria to misleading labels, you'll learn exactly why even the most trusted names are making mistakes that smart shoppers can't afford to ignore. And trust me, the store at number 1 will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about premium food. So if you care about what ends up on your plate and how far your dollar really goes, make sure you subscribe to Frugal Daily now. And hey, if you've ever taken one whiff of store-bought meat and tossed it straight in the trash, hit that like button. You're not the only one. 7. Publix. Publix likes to wrap itself in the image of a premium neighborhood store. Bright lights, spotless uniforms, carefully stacked shelves, and perfectly presented meat displays. But the truth hiding behind that polished presentation tells a very different story. Over the past few years, health officials have flagged multiple meat recalls at Publix tied to listeria contamination, a bacteria so dangerous it can send healthy adults to the ER and cause life-threatening complications for seniors and pregnant women. And these weren't isolated incidents. The recalls came from different products across multiple locations, revealing a deeper issue than just a one-time mistake. What makes this worse? The illusion of safety. People willingly pay more at Publix not just for convenience, but because they believe they're buying a higher standard. That premium price tag builds trust. But what happens when that trust is just a marketing tool? When a brand that promises clean, reliable food is silently putting shoppers at risk, that's more than a disappointment. It's a betrayal. And when the packaging looks fresher than the meat inside, you have to wonder, how much of that polished image is real? So no, not everything at Publix is worth the premium. Because while the slogan may say, where shopping is a pleasure, behind the scenes, you could be paying more just to put your health on the line. And that's no bargain for anyone trying to shop smart. 6. Stop and Shop. Walk into Stop and Shop, and you're met with the polished look of a store that wants to be seen as premium. Glossy floors, well-lit aisles, and prices that compete with high-end chains. But the moment you reach the meat section, the illusion cracks. Too often, what's inside the package looks like it barely survived the journey to the shelf. Shoppers across multiple locations have reported meat with slimy textures, off smells, and browning edges, signs that it's well past its prime. These aren't rare slip-ups. They're consistent enough to suggest a systemic problem with rotation, refrigeration, or sourcing. Maybe all 3. And here's where it hits hardest: the price. You're paying premium dollars expecting quality. But what you often get is a product that looks like it was prepped in the back alley. For working families, frugal shoppers, or anyone trying to make a careful grocery budget last the week, this isn't just disappointing. It feels like betrayal. You walk in trying to shop smart, but you walk out wondering if you just threw your money straight into the trash. Because in the end, Stop and Shop isn't just falling short on freshness. It's charging you extra for the privilege. And that's a deal no one can afford to make twice. 5. Aldi has earned a near-legendary status among frugal shoppers, and for good reason. The store strips away the fluff, slashes prices, and delivers efficiency in a way few competitors can match. But let's be brutally honest, when it comes to meat, that minimalist model might be hiding a dangerous trade-off. One of their best-selling items, Park Street Deli Pork Carnitas, was recently pulled from shelves after being linked to foreign material contamination. And we're not talking about a labeling error or an unusual texture. We're talking plastic and rubber fragments found inside pre-cooked meat. The kind of thing that turns a quick dinner into a dental emergency or worse. But this isn't just one bad batch. It's a symptom of a deeper structural flaw. Aldi's ultra-lean supply chain relies on a tiny network of high-volume meat suppliers. That keeps costs low, yes, but it also reduces quality control to a dangerous minimum. With fewer producers, fewer checkpoints, and fewer trained employees overseeing the process, even a small slip-up can lead to thousands of faulty packages reaching customers nationwide. It's the dark side of speed and efficiency. When the focus is on moving product, safety becomes a gamble, and you're the one taking the risk. Now, let's be fair. Aldi still offers tremendous value in many categories, but meat is different. It's not a canned good. It's not shelf-stable. It's a perishable product that demands precise temperature control, strict hygiene, and detailed oversight, none of which thrive under a bare-bones operational model. So while your wallet might breathe easier at checkout, the real price might show up later, in a doctor's visit, a sick family member, or a meal that ends in regret. And no discount is worth that. 4. Target. Most people don't walk into Target thinking about meat. You go in for paper towels, maybe some home decor, and next thing you know, there's a pack of pre-cooked pulled pork or sliced turkey in your cart. It's convenient, it looks clean, and it's right there next to the salads. But what most shoppers don't realize is that Target has been hit with multiple nationwide recalls tied to Listeria contamination in its ready-to-eat meat products, a bacteria that can cause serious illness and even death, especially in young kids, seniors, or anyone with a compromised immune system. And what's most alarming? This isn't just one bad batch. These recalls have happened again and again, raising serious concerns about how Target handles food safety behind the scenes. Unlike grocery chains with full-service butcher departments and trained meat staff, Target treats its food section like a side project, something tucked between throw pillows and shampoo aisles. That means less oversight, fewer trained employees, and a much higher chance of contamination going unnoticed. In a store built for everything from clothing to electronics, meat often takes a back seat, and it shows. Target may win when it comes to design, pricing, and convenience. But when it comes to refrigerated meats, that convenience might come at a higher cost than expected. Because if your store isn't built to prioritize food safety from top to bottom, then every shortcut, from packaging to storage to inspection, becomes a gamble. And the truth is, you shouldn't have to bet your health just to save a few minutes in the meal prep aisle. 3. Walmart. Walmart isn't just a store, it's a national institution. For millions of American families, it's the default destination for everything from school supplies to Sunday dinner. And when it comes to pricing, Walmart dominates the competition. But what most shoppers don't realize is that behind the promise of everyday low prices, especially in the meat aisle, there's a pattern of serious, repeated food safety failures that could turn your bargain into a health crisis. Over the last several years, Walmart has been named in multiple nationwide meat recalls tied to dangerous bacterial contamination. Investigations have revealed disturbing issues: meat stored above safe temperatures, poorly sealed packaging, and supply chain practices that favor speed over safety. Some in-store audits found meat sitting at 45 to 50 degrees, warm enough to allow bacteria like Salmonella and Listeria to multiply rapidly. And with reduced staffing and rushed stocking routines, spoiled or improperly handled meat can remain on the shelf long after it should have been pulled. But the real issue isn't just what's happening behind the scenes, it's the false sense of security. Walmart's massive scale and familiar branding lead many to believe that if it's on the shelf, it must be safe. Yet the store's very size is part of the problem. Managing quality control across thousands of locations, with millions of moving products, is a logistical nightmare, and meat is one of the easiest things to get wrong. When freshness depends on temperature, timing, and constant attention, any failure in that chain puts the customer at risk. So yes, that steak might be $5 cheaper than at your local butcher. But if that same meat sat in a warm cooler for 6 hours, was sealed with a torn plastic wrap, or came from a processor rushing to meet quotas, is it really a deal? At some point, the price you're paying is no longer printed on the label. It's measured in doctor visits, ruined meals, or food poisoning that knocks out your entire week. And that big bold rollback sign? It might be saving your wallet today, but risking your health tomorrow. 2. Kroger serves millions of American households every single week. It's one of the largest grocery chains in the country. And with that kind of reach, you'd expect a company this big to have its meat game locked down. But instead, Kroger has developed a quiet reputation for something else: meat that too often disappoints, and sometimes even disgusts. Across the country, customers have reported opening packs of ground beef only to be hit with a rotten, sour odor, or discovering meat so high in fat content that it turns into a puddle of grease the moment it hits the pan. But unpleasant cooking isn't the worst of it. Kroger has also been connected to multiple Listeria-related recalls, raising serious questions about the store's handling, sourcing, and inspection protocols. And when a brand trusted by millions gets flagged for the same food safety risks again and again, it stops being a mistake and starts to look like a pattern, a dangerous one. Because unlike packaging errors or pricing mistakes, contamination is a risk that directly hits your health. And here's the kicker: Kroger's prices aren't always lower. In many regions, customers are paying near premium rates for meat that not only underperforms in quality but also carries elevated health risks. That's not just frustrating for frugal families, it's insulting. You expect a fair exchange. Pay a little more, get something better. But with Kroger's meat section, that math rarely adds up. And when food safety becomes a gamble, every purchase turns into a risk, one you shouldn't have to take just to get through the week. 1. Trader Joe's. And now, the most unexpected name on this list, Trader Joe's, the store that built its identity on feel-good marketing, earthy vibes, and a carefully crafted image of trust. With its hand-drawn signs, quirky packaging, and promises of organic, small-batch, and farm-fresh everything, Trader Joe's has become a safe haven for health-conscious shoppers. But that sense of safety? It might be the biggest illusion of all. Over the past few years, Trader Joe's has issued multiple meat recalls, many involving ready-to-eat items that were marketed as organic, premium, or all-natural. These weren't minor labeling issues. They were serious listeria contamination risks that could harm the very people the store claims to serve. Young families, older adults, and health-focused customers who are often more vulnerable to foodborne illness. When the meat labeled clean turns out to be dangerously contaminated, the betrayal cuts deeper than just a spoiled dinner. It shatters the brand's entire identity. What makes this worse is how deeply trusted Trader Joe's has become. It's not a discount store. It's not a mega chain that cuts corners to save a buck. It's a brand that shoppers associate with wellness, ethics, and better living. And that's exactly why these recalls hit so hard. Because when the store that's supposed to be above all that starts repeating the same safety mistakes, it forces you to question every assumption. In the end, when a brand markets itself as healthy but keeps putting your health at risk, that's not just a letdown, that's a warning. Now you know the truth, and it's not pretty. Behind the polished floors, upbeat jingles, and polished brand images, even the biggest grocery chains in America have been caught cutting corners where it matters most. In the food that ends up on your family's table. From ignored safety protocols to misleading labels and rushed packaging, these failures aren't just unfortunate, they're dangerous. And the worst part? Most shoppers have no idea until it's too late. So let me ask you something. Have you ever brought home meat that looked fine in the store, only to find it smelled off, felt slimy, or made someone sick? If you've had a bad experience with any of these stores, share it in the comments. I read every single one, and your story might be the warning someone else needs to avoid the same mistake. This channel exists because we look out for each other, not because the big brands will. If this video helped you dodge even one risky purchase, do the smart thing and hit that like button. It tells YouTube that real shoppers want real answers, not marketing fluff. And if you're tired of overpriced products, fake freshness, and safety risks hiding behind pretty packaging, then subscribe to Frugal Daily right now. We uncover what others won't and give you the truth no one else is willing to say. Thanks for watching. And remember, saving money isn't just about chasing deals. It's about knowing which deals are actually safe and which ones are setting you up for regret. Shop smart. Question everything. And never, ever assume the meat is fine just because it looks fresh.